welcome to my channel. This is Ashley. Thank you for stopping by. Today's tutorial, I'll be doing these cute little love shape key holders. So I made a couple of them already, sorry. So just do one more together. So we'll be using pink beads, and as usual 0.3, and then pair of scissors and stuff. So let's thread up our needle. So our bead size today is 5 millimeters, but you can use 6.2 or you can use 4. Okay, since it's a key holder, you can go from down all the way up to 6. So we'll be using the 4 bead flower process, but we'll start with 3. Okay, 3 instead of 4. The 4 bead flower process usually start with 4, right? But with this one, you start with 3. Remember, that is one of the key points. It has 3 key points, and then this is one of them. Start with 3 beads, okay? And then you just continue with 3, right? You're doing a normal bead, a normal 4 bead process. So cutting off my excess thread, that's of course after I pass my needle through a couple of beads to hide off the knots that I made. So you just continue with 3. We're just going to make 5 on this row, okay? On this row. So this is the second one, right? So that's 2. We'll need 3 more. So 3 more to go. So you add up 3 like that until you get to the 5th one. Remember guys, once you start, and don't start with 4 beads, start with 3 beads, okay? 3 beads, and then just continue with 3 beads like that. So as we are working in a straight form, when we get to the 5th one, we'll start working sideways as usual. So this is the 5th one, okay? So this is the 5th one. So we'll start working sideways that way instead of going up. So 3 as usual, 3, okay? 3, and then continue with 2 until the end of the row. So this is the second row we are working on, right? So this is the second row. So the major difference, it's usually the first and the third row. Those are the ones you need to pay attention to, because to begin the first row, instead of 4 beads, you start with 3 beads, okay? On the first row, when you're starting, you usually start with 4, but with this one you start with 3. And then the second row is just going to be a normal 4 bead flower pattern. So you just continue it normally like that. See, so you start with 3 and continue with 2 until the end. There is nothing different about the second row. So we'll end our second row with 2 beads, and that is it. So now we're going to work on the third row. Now this is where the second difference comes in. You know, usually when you're starting a row working sideways, you're supposed to start with 3. Now on this second row, we'll be starting with 2 beads, okay? 2, not 3, 2. So you start your third row with 2 beads there, and then you just continue with 2 to the end. So that is it, 2 more, and then the third row ends. Okay, the third row ends. So I said there are going to be 3 major differences. The first one is starting with 3. The second one is starting the third row with 2. And the third one is ending the 4th row before the end. I don't know how to say it, but you see. So you start the 4th row. This is the 4th row. You start it normally with 3, like that. But you won't get to the end, okay? On the 4th row, you don't get to the end. So you just work on 3. So this is the second one, right? This is the second one. And then this is the third one. And that is where we end our 4th row. So you send it to the top bead again, starting a C row. So the 5th row, you've left out 2, and then you start a C row with 2 beads. So 2 at the top like this. Then you bring it down and continue with 2. So this way, and then 2 more. Then you have something like this. So now you're just going to add 1 bead, just 1 bead, this way. So 1 bead, and then you join it to the second and the third bead from that end. See, this way. So now I'm going to pass my needle through a couple of beads, make a knot, hide my knot, and then cut off my excess thread. When you're done, go ahead and make another one like it, okay? We're going to need 2 of that. So once you're done with this one, you cut off your excess thread and stuff. You go ahead and make another one just like it. Same thing. You're going to need 2 of it. So once you make the 2 of it, thread up your needle again. Thread up your needle as long as you can handle, okay? That way. So I went ahead and make another one like it. So now we're going to join those 2 together, okay? But first you need to join your thread and needle to one of them. So just pick any of them and join your thread to it. And then make sure your needle ends up at the top of your work. It doesn't matter which part of the top though, but make sure it ends up at the top of your work. This way. So this is where I ended up putting my needle. So now we're going to be joining them together. So I pick 1 bead from here and pass it through the other work, okay? The same bead on the other work. Make sure the beads you are passing through are the same beads, okay? You can't pass it through the 3rd one on this one and go and pass it through the 4th one on that one. No. So you're going to be passing it through like this and then picking 1 bead and joining them together. So you pick 1 bead and then pass it through the other one and then join it. Bring it down. So we're just going to do that all around the bead, okay? We're going to pick 1 bead, joining it all around. So I'm almost at the top of it. So you're going to join it like that until there's no space left, okay? Until there's no space left that the bead hasn't, where a bead is supposed to be, and it isn't. So you fill it up, join it up like that. When you are joining, at the end you're going to realize that it's also, at that point it's also making of that particular pattern, the 4 bead flower pattern, because 2 from here, 2 from here, 1 down, 1 up, so that's 4 bead. So as you keep joining, you realize that it's creating that particular pattern. So if your joining is not creating the particular pattern, you're joining it wrong then. So it's going to make a dip like this at the end, right? That's way. So I'm going to go ahead and then I'm going to pass my needle through a couple of beads to make a knot and hide my knot through a couple of beads, and then I'll cut off my excess thread, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. So this is how it looks like. See, 4 bead flower pattern. That's the pattern it creates along the line. So I'm passing it through a couple of beads to make it firm. It's a key holder. Ideally you use a 0.5 thread, but I'm obsessed with using 0.3, so I just doubled 0.3 and used it. So ideally you'll be using a 0.5 or 0.6 is fine, but using 0.3 makes work so easier, because when you make a knot you are sure it's going to be secure, it's not going to get loose. That's why I like working with 0.3. So this is it. This is how it looks like. Now I'm going to cut another thread, not too long, just arm's length. Sorry, I forgot to mention that you need a chain, a key holder chain. So just arm's length thread, not too long. And then you see the dip that is made, the bead in between those dip, you put the thread through it and it'll look like this. So you now going to put 4 beads in the thread. You join the threads together and then put 4 beads in them. Okay, what is like 1 thread from this side, 1 thread from this side, right? So you put 4 beads in it that way. And now you divide the threads and then put your chain in it, in one of them, many of them, and then tie. So you're going to make a couple of knots, okay, about 3 to 4 knots, regular knots. Then you go ahead and make 2 to 3 loop knots too, just to make it secure. It's a key holder. You don't know the number of keys the person is going to put on it, so it needs to be very firm, very secure. So make about 3 to 4 regular knots, and then go ahead and make 2 to 3 loop knots. This is a loop knot. You make a loop, pass it through, and pull. Okay, that's a loop knot. And we'll do it again. Pass it through like this, and then pull that way. Now it is done, but we need it to be very secure. So we're going to put our double thread back inside the needle. It's double thread and my needle is quite small, so I had to struggle to put it in. If you have a little bit bigger needle, no problem. So now we're going to pass the needle through the 4 beads down this way, all the way down to the first bead at the dip where we worked in. So pull it through the 4, pass it through the bead we started the work in, and then you pass it through a couple of beads, make a knot, hide your knot, cut off your excess thread, and then that is it. It's as easy as that, guys. Very easy, very cute, bead key holder. So you cut off your excess thread, and that is it. You're basically done. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't, and then give us a thumbs up.